Good afternoon, everyone. Ayun. So all of us are here para to have our own General Assembly. So headed by the GL3 Service Circle. And then, ayun. I'm thankful na walang nanggulo sa atin ngayon. Although may mga dumadaan earlier sa bahay, hindi naman sila nagdo-doorbell. May 20 seconds delay. Abangan natin. Pero may delay yan, ayan. So yung delay na yun is yung live tsaka yung nasa YouTube 'no. So kung may questions po yung mga nanonood online, I suggest na ipadaan natin sa chat. Kasi baka malagpasan na yung topic kapag may nagtanong. And then ayun, sige, ayun. I-ano na lang, araw na lang. So for the agenda, uh we have 5 primary agenda. So what is our purpose? And then what are our options? Regular bylaws of DSUD. And then what is our plan? And then who are we? So for the information ng mga tao. Kasi uh, for those who are in the group chats, you are seeing a lot of things and then hearing a lot of things. So ayun. We'll give a short introduction dun sa end ng presentation namin. So yun, what is our purpose, no? So basically, we want to address yung lack of empowerment ng mga homeowners natin. And then also to improve yung village. Kasi madaming opportunities sa village natin na hindi natin na papakita or na explore. And then second one is to promote a new culture in the community where transparency and integrity are evident. So, a lot of us have this sentiment na walang transparency yung association natin. And then, also in terms of integrity. Kasi we are raising a lot of concerns pero we hear that they're taking action. Opo, good afternoon. We hear that they're taking action pero wala naman tayo nakikitang results. So we want to change that and sige po. Medyo maluwag pa po tayo. So we want to change that kaya yun yung isa sa mga primary objective natin. And then finally to have a principled leadership that is focused on service rather than control. So ayun. This is voluntary work. We don't the homeowners are not employees of the leaders. So there's no really if it's not a crime, dapat walang control over the homeowners yung mga leaders natin, no? So unfortunately, that is what we are also observing. There's a certain level of control being exerted sa atin and we want to change that. So recap lang, I think most of the members here is nakita na to before. Pero this is just to reinstate that hindi tayo part ng LEHOA. And we have never been part of LEHOA in terms of DSUD classification or territorial jurisdiction. And then we are just beneficial user of DSUD. And then LEHOA already sent petition to DSUD and it's a petition asking for DSUD to nullify yung registration ng ibang village like MS2 and it was dismissed by DSUD kasi walang basis si LEHOA to claim na null and void yung registration ni MS2. So yun lang po yung gist neto. I'm sure a lot of us are already hearing this since July. So yun, maybe to ano, to remind us why we are also doing this. So in our village, it's classified as an exclusive village. We've been told that it's flood free, but we experienced this kind of problems before. Wait lang. So, ayun, ang example nun is yung 2022 na nagkaroon ng typhoon and floods. Ay, sige po, pasok po tayo. Opo, madami pa pong space. Ay, sige. So, ayun, unfortunately, yung nangyari nung 2022, ah, when it happened, Lehowa or Pro Friends did not report it to the City Hall. And then, since hindi alam nung City Hall, there were no investigations done outside the village. Kung saan galing yung tubig, bakit umabot sa level natin, ganun. So, unfortunately, nung nangyari to noong 2022 at walang na-report sa City Hall, nangyari siya ulit noong 2024, last year. So if you recall, nag-iba ulit yung pader sa Block 5. Tapos yung tulay natin sa creek, naging ilog na to the point na takot na yung mga taong tumawid kasi baka madala sila ng agos. So again, yung dalawang event na yun, walang nag-report sa City Hall. And there was no investigation done to prevent it from happening. And then, only nung this year, nung May, we reported to the City Hall. We asked for their advice. How can this be prevented? Doon lang natin nalaman na di pala nag-report sa kanila. Ang reaction nila is, first time namin nalaman yan. And then, they were even joking na kausap nila yung taong to few weeks back. Pero walang nagsasabi kung ano yung, walang nagsasabi sa kanila. Ang unfortunate lang nun, nung 2024, nag-budget planning sila for flood control. And then, na-finalize siya ng December 2024. So, hindi nasama yung problem na to dun sa budget. I think that was good for 3 years. So, hindi ko alam kung kailan yung next budget nila. So, yun. Isa to sa motivation kaya gusto natin ng bagong association and leadership para sana merong magte-take action sa mga ganitong instance. I think so, yes. Sanay akong nandito eh. Okay na. Hayaan mo sila. So yun. Very unfortunate kaso yun yung situation. And then another problem that we have or another motivation that we have na bakit tayo nag-establish ng sarili nating HOA is to address yung business ng BOD or ng developer. So basically, we have 5 BOD sa Lehoa, 4 of which are developer appointed. And then, dalawa doon is executives ng mga companies na ginagamit natin ngayon. Like yung Cumbria Ridge, yung Sabuyani, tapos yung OGP, yung project management natin. So, so doon pa lang may conflict of interest na kagad na they are acting on behalf of the developer rather than acting on behalf of the homeowners. And then it also gives them monopoly dun sa service providers. So basically, kung ano yung gusto nilang singilin, yun yung sisingilin nila. And then basically, ang perception namin is usually walang consultation with the homeowners since the BOD can decide. perfect example nun is yung permit cost na ginawa nung April this year. So lahat ng kibot natin, delivery ng materials, nagkaroon ng bayad. And then since sila yung may control, meron silang sort of immunity to oversight kasi walang sinishare sa homeowners. And then another thing is they control the security. So if you note, kaya yung mga previous GA natin laging nasa labas. Kasi even if we are paying our house here, actually technically we're also paying for all of the common areas. Wala lang sa atin yung title. Pero since nasa kanila pa yung title, di pa na-handover sa atin, they're preventing us from using the common areas. So yun po. Okay naman online, no? Naririnig naman. Sige. Mag-comment lang po kayo sa Facebook, sa YouTube kung hindi marinig. Yan. So to further elaborate dun sa empowerment ng homeowners. So in an association, kailangan lagi ng majority vote to effect some change. So for example, yung Lihowa, meron tayo currently around 35,000. So para makapag-vote tayo, kunyari tanggalin yung BOD, palitin yung mga bylaws or policy, kailangan natin ng 50% plus 1 or around 17,000, 18,000. So hindi yun practical and almost impossible kasi wala namang pakialam lahat ng tao. Kunyari may isang problema lang. So walang way yung community to effect yung change, especially kung majority is nonchalant or siguro isang village lang yung heavily affected pero yung 80 or 79 village hindi. So hindi siya maganda. So this applies to Lihowa and this also applies to uh, any clustering or any combination of village. Kasi kanya-kanyang mga interest yung for each village. And then if you combine the interest of many, tapos mag-aaway-away kayo, and you want change, mahirap din ma-achieve yung 50%. Kasi magkaka-vary yung interest nyo. So yun yung isa sa malaking advantage ng independent HOA. So in GL3 merong 429 na maximum house. Meron lang around 10 houses na hindi nabuo or ang balita ko parang may damage tas hindi na binebenta. So kapag meron tayong gustong gawin tas independent HOA na tayo, kailangan lang natin ng 215 na votes. Kunyari may gusto tayong patalsikan na BOD, gusto natin tanggalin yung garbage collection or security, ganyan. So it's not impossible to get 215. Especially yung demographic ng village natin. I think a lot of us are young professionals pa. So nasa 40s, ganyan. Tapos mga retiring age. So we are a very active community na I think madaming gusto mag-participate. And then ayun. Then yung pinakamaganda sa lahat is we don't need external intervention. Kasi sarili natin, pwede natin pagbotohan within ourselves lang. Hindi natin kailangan makisama sa ibang village. Another thing is nag-start yung GL3 or yung unang move-in is 2019. And then from that time, ang ginawa lang ng developer is yung mga bahay. Tapos hindi nila in-address yung mga nakalagay doon sa subdivision plan natin. So first is yung multipurpose hall na 300 square meter. So currently, nakikipag-usap pa din kami sa DSUD on how it will be settled. So ongoing pa yung battle dun. Yung parks and playground, fortunately nag-take action na yung developer. Nag-start na mag-construct diyan sa yung basketball court malapit sa creek. Pero yung lote na yun actually is both parks and playground and multipurpose hall. So hindi naman nila masasakop yung buong lote. So magkakaroon pa din tayo ng space for multipurpose. And then yung MRF, yung Material Recovery Facility. So maganda sana yung MRF, especially kung madami tayong mga bulky waste. Kunyari yung mga tree trimming, instead na nakatambak sa enclave natin, pwede natin ilagay doon. Most likely pwede din natin doon ilagay yung mga malalaking appliance or malalaking furniture para may pick up. So those are basic facilities na naka-define dun sa development plan ng village natin. And then dun sa license to sell, supposedly completed na siya by December 2022. So almost 3 years ng lapse. Pero wala pa ding penalty or ano sa kanila. Mm. Yun yung yes. So yun yung problem sa messaging na nakukuha natin kasi they are blaming yung collection doon sa facilities na dapat sila yung nagde-deliver. So it's a matter of educating the homeowners. So to be honest, before July, before namin nakuha yung development plan, ang nasa isip din namin, baka yan na talaga. Ganyan lang talaga yung enclave. Ganyan lang talaga yung mga open lots natin. So hindi natin alam. Tapos, kapag nakipag-usap ka sa kanila, alam nilang wala kang alam. So sasabihin lang nila yung convenient na sagot para sa kanila. Ayun, hindi available. So maganda yung mga naging drive sa ibang villages. Tapos, nung July, talagang nag-isip-isip kami and then luckily we had some connections sa ibang village na nakipag-usap kami. Una naming nakausap actually is yung MS2 president si Warley. So very helpful yung naging conversation kasi in-explain niya na may ganitong documents pala. Pwede pala siyang makuha ng normal na tao. Hindi mo kailangan maging developer or big time, ganyan. You just go to the office of DSUD, submit a request, and then ibibigay nila sa inyo. Ayun. So, ayun. So, yung question ni Jen is, nung time ng July when we requested those documents sa DSUD, ano yung naging contribution ng current officers? So, if you can recall that time, there was a very toxic chat also in the group chat. So we were sharing information about the documents we found, and then they were strongly, not denying it, but they were strongly against sharing that, or I don't know what's their intention. And then prior that, May and June, we tried to start the conversation then about the independent HOA. Especially nung May, nung nanalo nung lumabas yung registration ni MS2. And then, ayun. when I tried to reach out and told them the codes, the laws, yung mga RA 994, it was not taken positively. Kaya nung time na yun, I took it to myself, and with the support of our homeowners din na tumulong, we went to the city hall, we went to DSUD, and then we gathered those documents. Yun din yung rason kaya nung July pa lang, kaya ko na i-register yung GL3. Kasi that time, I had complete guidance from MS2 tsaka yung ibang village na nakapag-register. How they did it, the documents they used, July pa lang meron na ako. Pero of course, we wanted to do it properly and with the support ng homeowners. Kasi 'pag hindi yun nag-work, ang balik din nun sa'kin, eh, or sa'min, sa grupo namin na bakit kami nagmadali or gumawa ng sitwasyon na hindi naman voted ng mga tao. So yun, ayun. So basically wala. Yes po. Opo. Opo. GA. Opo. Opo. I later po mapapakita ko. Pero it boils down to transparency dun sa process. Siguro i-repeat ko lang yung question for the recording. Ano daw po yung difference nung grupo namin versus grupo nila Ma'am Ana? Since we're targeting the same independent HOA. So, ang main difference po is transparency ng process. So, later I'll be showing a lot of processes like yung service providers, yung timeline natin, ano yung magiging itsura along the way. And then, opo, opo, opo. Mm. Tsaka we try to present real numbers. Unlike nung pinresent nila before, ah, kung matatandaan niyo sabi nila based pa din yun sa LEHOA na prorated or scaled or something. So mahirap kasing mag-base ng decision based sa ganun lang. Parang nagiging ano siya, kaya nilang i-condition yung information in a way na papabor dun sa gusto nila. Kasi ang 'di ba nung huling GA, full force sila, GL 1, 2, 3 nandun. And then they really took time to speak and then sort of reassure na tutulungan tayo. So, maganda yun kung meron na silang napatunayan na good governance sa sarili nilang village or may sarili na silang HOA. But no, we're in the same page. Wala pa silang HOA. Tapos, nagpapa-GA sila, wala silang actual numbers. So, it doesn't build confidence. Tapos, ang experience ko kasi, ewan ko, personal bias ko, madalas kasi lumalabas na lang information sa kanila. Ano na parang gawa na wala ka nang magagawa. parang oo ka na lang kasi 'pag question mo, ikaw gagawa or ikaw magko-contribute para mabago yung information or mag-improve, which is not good. Yun yung papakita namin later na, we are in this process, we'll be transparent with the vendors, ilan yung meron kami, paano yung selection namin, and then we'll run that information dun sa, for example, sa Facebook group, para lang aware kayo. At least may FYI na, okay, may security agency tayo, ilan na yung pinagpilian, ito yung quotations nila. Tapos, di naman namin nire-require na basahin ang lahat. But for transparency, nandun siya kung may gusto magbasa at gusto mag-question. Rather than gugulatin na lang tayo na, oh, register na tayo tapos ito na yung napili. Nakamura na tayo dyan. 3 village na yan. Tapos di mo alam kung nag-bidding process ba. Di mo alam kung... So yun yung problem ko sa kanila. So ano sila eh, sabi nga nung medyo authoritarian. Parang, ito na yung gagawin natin. Anyway, nasa segue na ako. Pero ayun, as we go along with this GA presentation, mapapansin nyo din yung difference nung approach namin. May nagtanong ba? Wala, sa taas yata yun. So ito, balik lang dun sa amenities. So ito lang yung location ng multipurpose hall tsaka yung MRF. And then final point, amenities and certificate of completion. So for information natin, land developers such as ProFriends have performance bonds with the government. So yung performance bonds na yon is like security bond na babayaran nila in case mag-fail yung project, may pera yung government na huhugutan para tapusin yung project. Yun siya basically. And then government will release the performance bond after the subdivision is granted certificate of completion. So yung certificate of completion, nakukuha siya through inspection ng government agency sa subdivision. Kompleto na ba yung amenities, maayos ba yung roads, maayos ba yung common areas, ganyan. And then, the homeowners association is part of that auditor. So kung hindi tayo maging independent at ang mag-audit is si LUHOA, conflict of interest po yun. Pipirmahan lang ni LUHOA na okay na. So that's one big driver. Ang worry actually namin, minamadali nila yung basketball court. May chance na pagkatapos niyan, magpa-file na sila ng CO, Certificate of Completion. Tapos kapag wala pa tayong independent HOA at si LUHOA yung pumirma ng clearance, talo tayo. So yun yung isang challenge. And then, aside from that, eventually, gusto natin magkaroon ng mga community-funded projects. So, kung hindi natin mahabol si LUHOA talaga sa multipurpose hall or whatever, gusto namin gumawa ng projects dito sa village na medyo gagastos tayo. Tsaka isisiguraduhin natin na maayos yung pagkakagawa. So, ako po ay engineer po ako in a construction company. Tapos project management din. Si Mrs. ay project management din. Tapos madami tayong mga resource dito na maalam. So, this is not impossible for us. Kailangan lang natin siya may present in a way na convincing to the homeowners and then be transparent dun sa cost. Kasi halimbawa ito, yung unang quote na nakuha ko around 3 to 4 million. Around 4 million divided by 400 homes stretch in 2 years is not that much. A few hundred pesos lang yun sa association dues. Pero malaki siyang advantage for the village. So that's something na gusto naming i-explore later. Ito mahal, pero ito actually medyo mura, yung mga CISO. We can fund something like that around 40,000 lang. Pero ang challenge is kapag hindi tayo yung HOA and we don't have authority dun sa common areas, matagal siyang gawin. Tsaka ang daming arte. So, yun din yung isang big motivator namin. Another thing is security. So madami nang nag-approach sa Lihoa to have CCTVs. Ang problema, si Lihoa has a standard security na yun na yung minimum nila. Kaya walang nakakapaglagay ng CCTV basta. Nag-try yata before sa GL3 pero hindi rin masyadong nag-fly. Tsaka ang problem din kasi, even though maglagay ang homeowners ng CCTV, yung SOP ng guards, hindi pa rin nila susundin na tignan yung CCTV. Kasi ang pakikinggan nila is yung Lihoa, hindi yung homeowners na nandito sa village. Kaya, yun, isa din yun sa malaking motivation na kung bakit namin gustong gawin to. And, ayun, confident kami na pag nalagay tayo, matatapos natin yan. And then, another thing is, gusto natin ng mga activities. Ayan. So, kung mapapansin nyo, walang activity sa village. And, so isa yan actually, medyo nakakatawa lang, ang babaw. Pero isa yan sa mga bagay na napipigilan tayong gawin. Supposedly, simpleng bagay lang eh. Kausapin mo lang yung mga bahay na malapit. Okay lang pa maghingi kami sandali. Sabi nila okay, tapos na, 'di ba? Wala na dapat mga arte-arte pero oh. Pero 'yun, dahil dun sa the sort of culture that we have, parang parang may naisip kang gawin, ang una mong naiisip, "Shit, kailangan pa daanin pa sa ganito, kailangan pang himasin yung ganito para kailangan imbitado." Anyway, pero ayun, yun yung mga nakikita namin sa ibang village na actually dapat kayang-kaya natin kasi ang dami nating space, ang dami nating facilities. Pero for some reason, 'di natin magawa. So yun yung gusto naming baguhin na kung may homeowners na willing mag-organize ng event, instead na bibigyan natin sila ng barriers to execute yung event nila, dapat yung bagong leaders maging sila, enablers. Ang unang tanong dapat nila, paano namin kayo matutulungan? Gusto namin gawin 'to, paano namin kayo tutulungan? Anong kailangan niyo? May kakilala akong ganito, su-supply ng ganyan, gano'n. Dapat gano'n yung conversation rather than yung i-approach niyo yung idea and then noted or ang sagot sa'yo pag-iisipan pero isang buwan na hindi pa din tapos mag-isip. Kaya yun yung mahirap, parang nagiging bottleneck yung leaders rather than enablers para magkaroon ng madaming activities. So yun yung gusto namin baguhin. So yun, medyo hugot yung first part. So yun yung namin, yan yung drivers namin, bakit kami nagpapakahirap gawin 'to. Kasi personally ang hirap niya pagsabayin sa family, sa work. Tapos ayun. So, ako personally yung GC binabasa ko lang siya mga twice a day, 3 times a day. Tapos 'pag meron lang nag-flag sa'kin na, "Uy, ano na, sobra na." Dun lang ako nagbabasa. Kasi medyo ano, nakakakuha ng focus, especially 'pag sa work. So yun, yun yung first part, bakit kami nandito. So what are our options? So balikan lang natin yung tatlong options na meron tayo. So independent HOA follows LIHOA's plan based dun sa huling community meeting na binigay nila, and no action. So yung option 2, ito na yung clustering kung ano man yung gusto nila. Tapos yung option 3 is no action. Hindi tayo makikisama sa LIHOA, hindi rin tayo makikisama kay DSUD, ta's patatakbuhin lang natin yung kalendaryo. So 'pag ginawa natin yung option 2 and option 3, basically, we'll still be at the mercy of LIHOA and ProFriends kung ano man yung gusto nilang gawin sa atin. For example lang is yung home improvement, baka taasan nila ulit, tapos wala na naman tayong magagawa. Or yung very stupid and ridiculous na e-vehicle road policy. So, nakakatawa siya kasi ano, parang hindi nila inisip yung community. Hindi nila inisip yung mga tao na bumili ng bahay sa kanila. Ang inisip lang nila ay magmukhang maganda yung village without taking consideration dun sa mga tao na nakatira. So, yun yung problem dun sa option 2. Yung option 3 na do nothing, hindi aware ang lahat, but LIHOA already tried to register some of the villages sa clustering without homeowners' consent. So, may ganong instance na. Yun din yung parang driver nila Ana to get their consultant and then write that petition blocking any registration, ganun. So, yung consultant nila and yung petition na yun, to be honest, wala siyang pinakita sa officers na any documents or letters na pinadala nila sa DSUD. So everything about it is just from Ana's words. So we're hoping na totoo kasi ang petty naman kung mag-iimbento lang siya ng ganun. Yes. Wala siyang binibigay. Hindi. Ano nila ano sila tiwala na sila kay Ana ayun. So sorry. The question was about dun sa consultant if any other officers ask the letter or details dun sa consultant. The answer is no. Based dun sa huling conversation namin sa GC. So, probably. But, yun. I was very vocal nung sinabi niya yun na sana nakipag-usap muna siya sa amin kasi it's a representation of our village. She entrusted our village to be represented by that person. So dapat sana informed tayo. Next slide na yun, sorry. Ayun. So, moving forward, dun pala siya sa next slide. So, dun sa major challenges ng option 1, can we run our own HOA? So, we'll have our own BOD and then we'll hire a professional property manager. So, hindi po tayo magmamagaling na alam natin paano patakbuhin yung HOA. So, kukuha po tayo ng agency na magpo-provide nun for us. And then for our own services, currently, preliminary accounting leads to 345K monthly cost compared to yung maximum natin na 420 dun sa mga ano natin, sa homeowners natin. So medyo mas mababa compared dun sa pinakita nila nung sa GA nila. And then can we organize our own documents? That is a yes. So madami po akong kausap na nakapag-register. Actually yung mga nakapag-register, yung mga nababalitaan nyo, meron kaming sariling group chat where they share their process, yung mga challenges nila sa registration. So we share pati yung mga templates like yung mga attendance and master list. So yun, we can register. For the documents, kung alam na ba ng officers, alam na po nila since July. So nung publicly nakipagbati sila, the week after, I shared to them the documents. Oh. Then yung documents na yon is electronic copy lang. The certified true copy na hard copy is nasa akin. So if they push to have that registration, they can swallow their pride and ask it for me, or they can get their own kasi public na naman yun eh. Pero for me, if they can prove that they have the majority, ayoko na rin naman gumastos sila kasi sisingilin din tayo nun eh. So bibigyan na lang din natin. Then, can we assure the village will maintain or improve its operation? So doon po papasok yung future BOD that we will elect. And then it will also require, or community support will be a big factor. Kasi tulad nung lagi nila sinasabi, walang bayad ang BOD, walang salary. Nasa batas din na bawal silang bigyan ng kahit anong honorarium or salary. So ito na po yung costing na meron kami ngayon. So for security services, meron kaming nakuhang 3 quotation. Yung middle price yung nilagay namin dito, which is 35K. And we will have 4 security guards, same as what we have now. So that's 140. For garbage collection, isa pa lang yung quotation na meron kami. And ang estimate is around 72,000 monthly yung collection. Pero yung nakuhang quotation na yon is based in Rizal. So we haven't yet found a local collection dito sa Cavite. So probably mas mura yung makukuha natin dito. So this is just a conservative value. Estate dues, ito yung currently na sinisingil sa atin dun sa financial report. We don't plan to pay for that. Kasi based sa RA 994 tsaka doon sa PD 957, hindi dapat sila nagko-collect. Kung nagbabasa po kayo ng Facebook recently, may mga pinopost sila Cardo na notice of alleged violation. Yung notice of alleged violation is about this estate dues. Kasi sa batas, hindi dapat naniningil ang developer ng maintenance cost ng common facilities sa homeowners until i-handover ng developer yung title ng common facilities. So as long as hindi na handover yun, dapat developer yung nagbabayad. So malaki po yan, hundreds of millions yan. Sana manalo sila or sana mapatunayan na may fault kasi babalik din sa atin yung pera. Especially dun sa mga matagal na nakatira. Yung mga bago, konti pa lang yung yung porsyento nila. Then, estate power and water. So ito naka-scale lang dun sa LEHOA na data. So we just use this as is. Ito yung power sa Meralco poles natin. Tas yung water sa, for example, sa guardhouse. Property management fee, naglagay po kami dito currently ng 40,000 monthly. And then meron siyang down payment na 10,000. Ito po is, meron kaming isang kausap ngayon na matagal nang tumatakbo na company, 16 years nang running yung company niya. And then, based dun sa conversation namin dun sa taong yun, very passionate siya to help yung mga young HOAs tulad natin. Tapos madami na din siyang nakaaway na developers and cases with DSUD fighting for homeowners. So medyo confident kami. Pero we'll still try to look for at least 3 bidders para meron tayong comparison. And then, ang cost niya actually is 10,000 to 100,000. 100,000 being yung buong function ng HOA management, ipapagawa natin sa kanya. So, since bago pa lang tayo, depende din sa mga pag-uusapan ng interim BOD, we might try to get yung full service na 100K for the first 2 months. And then, gradually ibababa natin. So, yung excess cost nun, we'll try to manage using yung registration fee. Kasi magkakaroon po tayo ng registration fee na 1,000. So that will raise us around 300, 400,000 at the start. Pero in our opinion, that's very important, yung HOA management. Kasi sila yung mag-establish ng permit system, rules and regulations, yung construction permits, yung management ng HOA. So kukunin natin yung best practices from them. And then, ipa-pattern natin yung village para hindi tayo magsa-start from scratch. Then, collection provider, we assume 3%. So, madami ng banks ngayon nagpo-provide ng bills payment para mangolek ng HOA dues. So, we have that option. And then, grass cutting, currently, we scaled with LeHOA, around 32K. And then, may chance din na mapababa natin to kung may makita tayong vendor. Then repairs, maintenance, tree trimming, damage flushing. Itong last part is optional. So depende sa buwan. May chance na sa isang buwan di natin magagastos to. May chance na sa ilang buwan magagamit natin. So it boils down to around 344,000 or 345,000. And then, if we assume 90% collection efficiency, meron tayong around 380K. So, meron pa tayong around 35K na excess budget. So, medyo macro level pa lang to. Wala pa siya nung nitty-gritty talaga nung sa HOA. And, best case. Ang sinasabi ng LeHOA, ang collection daw natin is 80%. Pero every time na sinasabi nila yun kanila Ana, wala silang proof. Parang sinasabi lang sa meetings. Ganun. Wala din tayong data for now. Yung occupied, ang ginawa ng MS2 is kinontak nila si Aqualink. Tapos tinignan nila ilan yung paying customer. Kasi dapat kung paying customer ka, nag-provide ka din ng HOA dues. So we can do that also para meron tayong idea. Sige. And then, ayun, based din sa assessment ng property management na consultant na nakausap namin, our association due is very high, 1,000 pesos, compared sa ibang village. So they think it's a very manageable HOA. And mas madali daw ito compared sa iba nilang na-handle kasi sa iba daw kasi nag-start sa mababa, tapos nung kinumpit nila kailangan mataas. So, ang expectation nila for our village is nag-start tayo sa mataas and then may chance na bumaba. Yun din yung ine-expect natin kasi ano, pinagkakakitaan talaga tayo ng ng Lehoa, tsaka ng ProFriends. So, some examples nung mga agency na nakuhaanan namin ng quote. For security, dalawa lang 'to, JPM and Trusted Men Security Agency. So, ang range nila is 33 and 35,000. So, we'll make this available dun sa ano natin, sa Facebook page for reference. May isa pang nag-quote 44,000, di ko na pinakita. Kasi hindi naman tayo aabot sa gano'n dapat. Then, di ko rin alam. Actu yung sa Lehoa daw, ang dine-declare nila 45,000. Nung nakausap namin yung consultant, sabi nila may makukuha nga kayong 22,000 lang, eh. So, medyo nasa middle ground na yung quotation na tinitignan natin. Pero, currently, all of this effort is yung grupo lang din namin. So, yun din yung gusto naming i-open up sa homeowners na, kung gusto niyo mag-participate or meron kayong contacts, we are very open to suggestions kasi ano, ito is limited lang dun sa 30 minutes na kaya naming i-allot for the association. Na kinuha lang din namin sa personal time namin. So, kung madami tayong makakatulong, mas maganda. Then for garbage collection, ito yung nabanggit ko na isang quote na nakuha namin na naka-base sa Rizal. So, ang estimate is around 8,000 per trip and then 9 trips, kaya naging 72. But ano lang 'to, placeholder lang. We'll still find suppliers dito sa Cavite. May binigay sa akin sa munisipyo. I think wala. Pero hindi pa napag-usapan in detail. May ni-refer, kaso medyo malabo din kausap, eh. Parang gusto lang telephone tapos kailangan sadyain. Yung iba ding, garbage collection, parang ano, gusto nilang ikaw yung pumunta sa office nila. So, 'pag nag-push talaga tayo to have this, mag-a-allot po tayo ng time para puntahan sila personally. Then last is yung sa property management. So ito gusto lang namin i-highlight kasi malaking bagay talaga kung meron tayong property management na tutulong sa atin. So yung kausap namin currently is yung FCP Group which has 16 years experience. And then yung head nila is Certified Manager of Community Associations. So ano siya, certifying body sa US for homeowners association. So yung mga best practices doon, accessible sa kanya and ta-try din niya na i-incorporate sa mga homeowners association na sino-service niya dito sa Philippines. So yun yung aasahan natin. Tapos ito po yung na-mention ko before na meron siyang full HOA management service na remote na aabot ng 100,000. Hindi, taga Cubao. Oo, yung Kano, yung ibang lahi, hindi pa ya Kano. So, actually ang haba nung airtime nun, parang hindi pa siya kailan ba siya matatapos? Pero ayun, then meron siya nung full HOA management and then meron din siya nung tinatawag na unbundled HOA management. So meaning yung full management na meron silang itemized na services and tasks, kapag, puwede natin siyang i-tailor na tanggalin yung chunks ng services. Halimbawa, instead na meron nagmo-monitor ng mga complaints, pwede natin siyang i-store in a automated system like Google Forms para meron na tayong tracker. And then, yung legwork na yon, instead na merong manual na nangongolekta, ma-store natin digitally somewhere na accessible sa atin. And then, magagawa natin action. So, parang ganun yung na-imagine namin. And then, kaya din naisip namin na i-take yung full service sa simula para din maintindihan natin ano ba yung sinasabi nilang service. Kasi baka makakuha tayo ng listahan ng service tapos sasabihin natin hindi natin kailangan. Yun pala kailangan natin kasi hindi natin naintindihan. So, yun. Isa yun sa pag-uusapan later with the interim boards. And as we go along with that, we plan to also inform yung mga progress dun sa Facebook group natin para din may makapag-comment or advice. So yun po, yun yung sa project management. So we're trying to build confidence sa mga nakakausap namin kasi mahirap kasi na papakitaan tayo ng cost, papakitaan tayo ng mga companies na nakausap nila, and then hindi natin alam kung kung worth it ba yung cost na sinasabi nila dun sa sa proposal. And then another thing that sets us apart from the other group is our commitment dun sa service contracts. So we will ensure na transparent yung magiging handling natin ng contracts. So we have basically 5 steps. Drafting of scope and limitation of service contracts. So meron kami ngayon na drafted na mga scopes na yun yung binigay namin dun sa service contractors. Tapos yun yung pinrasyuhan nila. Para alam ng mga homeowners ano ba yung hinihingi natin dun sa mga contractors na yun. And then eventually, kapag nagka-problema tayo sa contractors na yun, kung sila yung napili, meron tayong babalikan na, o sabi sa kontrata nyo, dapat ginagawa nyo to, pero hindi nyo nagagawa. So isa yan sa issues natin ngayon. Halimbawa yung grass trimming. Parang 5 taon na nating sinusumpa yung iniiwan nilang damo. Pero dun sa kontrata nila, parang hindi talaga kasama yung pagkolekta ng damo. Hanggang pagputol lang. So, again, babalik siya dun sa empowerment ng homeowners. Lahat ng homeowners hindi masaya. Pero hindi tayo makapagsama-sama para iboto na tanggalin or palitan yung service contract. Hindi natin mapalitan yung service. So yun, isang example yun nung sa empowerment. Then invitation to bid, we'll have minimum 3 contractors para dun sa service. And then we'll have bid evaluation summary. So yung bid evaluation summary is like a side-by-side. Ano yung requirement natin, proposal ni contractor 1, contractor 2, contractor 3. Tapos ano yung presyo nila isa-isa. So gagawa tayo ng summary na ganun para ma-apple to apple comparison natin. And then, syempre usually yung lowest bid yung pipiliin. Pero kung yung second lowest yung pipiliin, may makikita natin clearly yung justification. May ganito siyang service or feature na gusto talaga nating makuha, even at a higher cost. Then, public comments for bid. Using yung Facebook page, ilalabas din natin doon yung mga documents, proposals, yung evaluation summary. And then we just provide a window time just for homeowners to comment. Kapag walang comment, we proceed dun sa recommended the vendor. So ito yung target namin gawin doon sa service contracts na we think is very important kasi ayaw natin na bigla na lang tayo magkakaroon ng service provider na sino ba nag-vouch? pumalpak na siya 10 beses, 'di natin mapalitan. Ta's yun pala yung kontrata, walang escape clause, walang penalties, so talo tayo. So using this process, puwedeng merong mag-comment nun na, dapat may monthly evaluation or feedback, ganyan. 'Pag walang improvement, puwede nating terminate yung contract. So puwede tayong maglagay ng mga gano'ng conditions dun sa natin, service provider. So yun. So ito sana yung mga magandang pakinggan dun sa GA. Kaso walang na-present dun sa kabilang side for this, part of the sa service contracts. Everything that we hear about services is cheaper by the dozen, ganyan. You'll have a common contract, ganyan, mas mababa yung cost. But, yung integrity nung service provider is parang hindi masyado nabigyan ng highlight. So yun. Inom lang ng tubig. May mga nagcha-chat yata. Ayun. Si Sir Elmer. Sige. Flag niyo lang ako kung kailangan nating i-address yung question. Hindi ko kasi mata-track. Ay, sige. Ito. Mami, ito yung pa-connect mo, 'wag yung sa'tin. Sige. So, punta na tayo dun sa next part, which is yung regular bylaws. So, medyo similar 'to nung prinesent ko nung September. So, for the new bylaws, it was developed by DSUD as the minimum requirement to ensure homeowners' protection and empowerment. Since there are several observed abuse of developers and BOD. So yun, very clear. Yun yung objective nung template nila. Gumawa sila ng template kasi for the longest time, madaming gumagawa ng bylaws na advantageous sa developer. Perfect example sa LEHOA, may specific clause doon, developer shall not pay association dues. So doon pa lang, parang madaya na. Ang latest guideline ngayon, ang developer is considered as beneficial user. Kasi hangga't di nila nabebenta yung bahay, sino nagme-maintain ng security ng bahay na yun? Sino nagme-maintain ng roads sa harap ng bahay na yun? Yung association. So, consider dapat siya as beneficial user and dapat nagbabayad din siya ng association dues. Pero sa LEHOA bylaws natin, sila, exempted. So yun, kaya merong nirelease si DSUD na template na bylaws na defined as minimum requirement. Minimum meaning hindi pwede magbawas ng clause dun sa bylaws unless meron silang clear justification. Kasi mas strict na sila ngayon. Isa din yan sa rason kung bakit noong 2024 nag-release sila ng IRR requiring all homeowners association to re-register. So mag-register sila ulit, magpapasa ulit sila ng bylaws that is compliant dun sa bagong bylaws na template nila. 2024 December. Hindi pa. Tapos ang deadline nila doon originally is July yata this year. Tapos nagkaroon ng extension hanggang November next year. Yun yung naririnig natin na mawawala yung LIHOA by November next year. So, ayun. And then another thing na in-emphasize na doon in detail is yung grounds for removing or dissolving the BOD. So before, hindi siya ganun ka-detailed na binigay. Pero dun sa latest na guidelines or dun sa latest na bylaws, naglagay na sila ng mga conditions like breach of trust, conflict of interest, mismanagement, fraud, and abuse of authority. So yung letter C, medyo ano, no? Then tolerated the commission of fraudulent activities, other illegal acts committed by a director or trustee, gross negligence in managing of affairs, failed performance, failed to perform their fiduciary duties and responsibilities. Itong letter F, ito yung financial statements. So kung mag-fail yung BOD to provide yung financial statements, ground siya for removing yung BOD. Then any of the grounds enumerated dun sa 27 and 25. So wag na natin pansinin muna to. So dun sa bagong bylaws, madami ng conditions or situations kung kailan natin pwedeng i-exercise yung natin, yung rights. And then ang kagandahan dito, hindi na ito kailangan ng majority vote. Kailangan mo lang ng proof. Tapos pag na-collect nyo na yung proof, pinasa nyo sa DSUD, you have a case to remove yung BOD. Then, dun sa prescribed standard for financial transparency, nag-provide na din si DSUD ng guidelines dun sa financial monitoring ng association. Pero ang bottom line, ang nire-require lang nila is annual fiscal report. So, for our case, if we will try to do projects and closely monitor yung budget natin, we will try to have a monthly fiscal report rather than annual. Then usually yung monthly fiscal na yun is pinapasa lang sa mga BODs, but we'll make it available dun sa homeowners upon request. Then yun din yung part din na to is where yung selected property management consultant natin will be very important. Since sila yung first line na mag-ensure na compliant tayo rather than yung lang natin, yung gusto lang natin na i-comply. Ulit po. Hindi pa ngayon. Sorry. So, we'll make this available naman. And then, sige, doon sa Facebook group, ipopost namin. Then yung copy din ng bylaws, actually, na-post na namin around 1 week ago. So you can refer to that. After this GA, siguro I'll post a post na madaming links calling out yung documents. Then other highlights nung bagong bylaw is 2 years yung term ng BODs. Registration fee is same as our association dues. Then our association due is same. Tapos magkakaroon tayo ng beneficial user fee na same sa association dues natin. And then we'll try to not have any black representative or impose any compartmentalization of the village. So hindi natin sasabihin na yung BOD na to pwede lang kumausap dito. So anyone can talk to any BOD kahit hindi nila ka-block. And then medyo ano lang, pang-asar lang, anyone can talk to their neighbors residing in different blocks. Then another thing is meron tayong turnover of records between incoming and leaving BOD. So ginawa na 'tong requirement to ensure na transition of the management is proper. And then kapag hindi ito ginawa ng leaving na BOD, ground siya for disqualification na tumakbo ulit sa BOD position. Then, as I mentioned before, zero salary or allowance for BODs. Ang pwede lang makuha ng BOD is operational cost. Kunyari nagpa-meeting, may pagkain. Yun, ganong ano lang, ganong cost lang yung pwede. Then, I'm not sure if nararamdaman nyo sa village natin, pero supposedly merong committees ang village. So, first is yung election committee. So, yung election committee, every election, homeowners ay magvo-vote ng election committee muna. Kasi sila yung pagkakatiwalaan natin na hindi lulutuin yung election. Then yung election committee, hindi sila pwedeng tumakbo for any position. Hindi sila pwedeng tumakbo for BOD para walang conflict of interest. So far, wala pa tayong na-observe na ganito. Grievance committee, hindi ko rin sure. Wala rin. Audit committee, wala din. Is an order. Then, meron din silang na-recommend na DRRM, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management. Actually, kailangan natin to. Especially dun sa Block 5. Then, Gender and Development Committee, Environmental Committee. Yung environment natin, pag may clean and green, yun, nakikita natin. Livelihood, wala. Maintenance, wala. Peace and order, meron naman. Kasambahay affairs, wala. Social and cultural, yung ayun, pwede tayong gumawa ng ganun. So ito is yung minimum na recommended ni DSUD. We can have these committees, pwede din wala. Pero I think yung minimum na kailangan natin is yung election. Kasi every election, hindi tatanggapin ng DSUD yung election results kung walang election committee na naboto. Ayun, so madami talagang functions na maganda sanang nandun sa association natin. And then, ito din is mga volunteer works. Wala din silang sweldo. So we'll try to find, hopefully, yung mga passionate talaga. Kunyari, may background talaga sa health, ganyan. Tapos retired na or gustong tumulong sa community. Yun yung mga magandang kunin. So, ayan, naisama ko lang kasi maganda siyang part nung bylaws. And then, ang current na balak lang natin baguhin sa bylaws is yung beneficial user. Sorry, malabo talaga. Snapshot lang kasi. Pero yung current kasi na bylaws na template ni DSUD, wala siyang prescribed na amount for the beneficial user. Wala din siyang categorization. So ito, we are clearly indicating na yung homeowners who have opted not to enroll as member. Kunyari, wag naman sana, merong homeowner na ayaw talagang sumali sa association, di naman natin siya pipilitin. Pero, kung mag-e-enjoy siya sa mga services, magbabayad pa din siya dapat. So, pag dinagdag natin sa clause ng bylaws, kahit hindi siya member, magbabayad siya ng association dues. And then, property owners whose membership has ended. So, ito yung, for example, na foreclosed na units. Binili, na-repaso, tapos nasa bangko yung title. Sisingilin natin yung bangko. Kasi nasa kanya yung title ng lupa. Then developers or owners holding unsold units. Ito yung sa ProFriends, kung hindi pa nila nabebenta. And then tenants or lessee residing in properties whose owners are not members. So medyo same to dun sa one na ayaw mag-member. So basically lahat ng nasa village, if they are enjoying the benefits nung association, kailangan nila magbayad. Yun yung gist nitong additional clause na idadagdag natin sa bylaws. Then, so kayo. Then last about the bylaws or the DSUD guidelines is yung BOD Code of Ethics. So yung okay lang. Yung BOD Code of Ethics, para siyang guideline ng DSUD na dapat basahin ng mga BOD on how they will behave and protect yung interest ng association. So, pipirma lang yung BOD dito sa gilid tsaka sa dulo, signifying that nabasa na nila yung document and they will try to embody yung guidelines. So, yung mga interesting parts dito is yung primacy of the interest of the association. So, meaning yung he will uphold yung interest ng association over yung other interest niya. Then disclosure inhibition and abstention. This is related sa conflict of interest. So kunyari meron siyang negosyo na pwedeng kunan ng association for service. Kailangan i-disclose niya yun or inhibit niya yung sarili niya to join. Then partisan politics, yung pinapaboran yung kaparty niya. Then officer, board members, own business, and practice of profession. Medyo related sa una, sa disclosure. So dapat hindi niya ihalo yung personal practice. Dealings with families and related parties. So yun, no favor dapat dun sa families and related parties. Then vendor, suppliers, and contractors. Yun. Related siya sa standard business practice na dapat sundin for selecting vendors, suppliers, and contractors. So, hindi ko na i-detail. Hinighlight ko lang na we have this document, Code of Ethics, na nire-require ni DSUD na maintindihan ng mga future BODs. And in a way, pwede din natin basahin as homeowners. If we see something different dun sa leader natin, we can call out this Code of Ethics na, parang taliwas na siya dun sa dapat na galaw ng BOD. Yun yung maganda dito sa document. So yun yung last part nung sa bylaws. Pagod na ako. So what is our plan? So, lahat po tayo kabado sa pagpapatakbo ng bagong homeowners association. Madami po tayong tanong. Madami tayong uncertainties. Unlike sa professional setting or corporate setting na magjo-join tayo sa organization na tumatakbo na, nasusundin na lang natin yung ginagawa nila. Ngayon, may papasukin tayong situation na lahat ng members natin, hindi naman sa walang alam, hindi educated enough para ma-ensure na tatakbo ng tama yung association. So yung mga tanong na, has any homeowner in GL3 have any experience running a HOA? I think wala. Si Mamira ba? BOD po ba kayo dati? Ayun pala. Ayun, actually bawal po ang BOD in one association na maging BOD sa isa pang association. So, dapat isa lang. Then, do we have an office to run the HOA? Wala. Kaya din yung property management kanina na pinakita ko is remote. Kasi wala tayong office for them. Do we have IT assets? Wala. Unless merong gusto mag-donate ng lumang laptop, ganun. Pero currently wala. Then, do we have the staff? Wala din. Do we have the structure needed to run it properly? Currently, wala din. Then, do we have the forms, permits, processes? Currently, wala din. So, madami talagang uncertainty. Tapos, madami tayong kailangang pagdaanan na transition. Especially dun sa magpapatakbo. So, para mas ma-manage natin yung malaking problem na 'to, hinati namin siya into 4 phases. So, first phase, confirm we have enough money to maintain the services. So, yun yung first part na pinakita ko, yung medyo pre-work na naghanap ng contractor, naghanap ng proposals, ganyan. So, yun yung unang problema na kailangan nating ayusin. Sapat ba yung pera natin? Kung tapos, yung nakuha ba nating information, does it give us enough confidence to go ahead? Kasi kung kulang talaga yung pera, kailangan pag-usapan ulit kasi I don't think na basta-basta papayag yung mga homeowners na madagdagan yung association dues. So, yun yung phase 1. Phase 2, engage HOA project management agency or property management. Then, bring in the best practices, forms, and structure of a good HOA. So, dito papasok yung mga consultant natin. So, subukan natin na kilatisin sila, ano ba yung experience nila, ano yung portfolio nila, mga natapos na nilang mga or na-manage na nilang mga subdivision before. Tas yun yung mga pwede nating tignan as reference. So, for example, yung pinakita namin kanina na FCP, we'll share yung company profile nila and yung mga portfolio din nila para makita nyo na nag-handle na sila ng ganito kalaking property tas tumatakbo naman. So, they must be doing something right. Then, phase 3, hire a staff who will be enabled and trained by the HOA management agency. And then, yung training na yon, isasama din yung BODs and committee heads. So, yung training na yon is more of operation ng HOA. And then, aside doon, training din about the processes. Kunyari, yung mga permits, yung mga forms. For example, for BODs, ano yung duties nila. Kung meron ba silang kailangan bigyan ng approval, naintindihan ba nila na sa kanila hihingin yun at hindi sila magtuturuan. Yung mga ganong klaseng process. So, yun yung phase 3. So, sa phase 3, matitrain yung operations natin dito sa association. And then, phase 4, pag na-train na yung mga leaders, mga committee heads, alam na nila kung anong gagawin, doon natin i-roll out sa homeowners yung mga process. Yung mga village rules, yung mga permits, yung mga forms. So, may chance na itong 4 na to, as we go along, madagdagan pa siya. Baka maisip natin, split pa yung phase 3, ganun. Pero, pag binalikan natin yung previous slide na paano natin patatakbuhin yung HOA, ang daming tanong, ang daming kailangan nating matutunan. So, the only way na mamamanage natin yun is to break it into parts. Tapos isa-isa natin ayusin yung problems. So, ito yung medyo maitutulong namin na may experience sa project management. Ako may experience po ako sa construction, si Mrs. sa BPO. So, sanay kaming 'di man sanay, may mga experience kami na bibigyan lang kami ng malaking problema tapos unti-unti naming tatapyasin hanggang maubos. Kaya ayun, ito din yung rason kung bakit, ah, ang hirap humugot ng confidence dun sa kabilang grupo. Kasi parang lagi lang may problema tapos pagkatapos ng lahat magtitiwala na lang tayo na maayos yung problema, pero hindi natin nakikita kung paano. So itong part na 'to will be transparent as we can. Hindi naman sa totally share namin yung problema sa mga tao, pero gusto naming malaman niyo na kung meron hindi kami matapos, alam niyo kung bakit. Kasi siyempre at the end sasabihin namin na ano, magtiwala kayo ganyan, meron kaming ganitong credentials, tingin namin kaya namin, pero 'pag may nakita kaming roadblocks, at least, aware kayo na nahirapan kami dito, tapos baka meron tayong homeowners na marunong pala dun, ta's makakatulong sa atin. Pero tingin namin manageable naman. Yung malaking part talaga is yung property management na consultant na makukuha natin. Kasi sila yung magiging ano natin, sila yung magga-guide sa'tin para ma-overcome yung mga challenges na 'to. So timeline. Nandito tayo ngayon. So middle of December, hindi po kami magmamadali na mag-register. Kasi yung phase 1 po namin na budget, hindi pa kami confident. So we're giving ourselves 1 month na maghanap pa ng contractors para magkaroon tayo ng medyo firm na value. Another thing is yung HOA management na contractors. Gusto pa namin maghanap ng ibang makakausap. Kasi yung una namin nakausap, medyo convinced na kami, pero baka meron pang mas maganda. And then, hopefully by end of December, makakapag-firm na kami nung cost. And then, yung cost na yon i-disperse namin yung information dun sa Facebook group natin. And then we'll have around 2 weeks to comment. Kung meron kayong problem dun sa recommended vendor namin or anything. And then, before we register, we will publish our budget plan. Para lang aware lahat na bago namin ipasa sa DSUD, ito yung papasukin natin, most likely. Tapos, I'll be frank, kung merong gusto mag-withdraw ng signature nila, okay lang din. Kung mawalan kayo ng confidence along the way. Kasi we're working here with limited information din. Kami, we are doing the GA right now to invite homeowners to collaborate. Kasi kapag di kami nag-GA or kapag nag-GA kami na kumpleto na yung info, parang tinapos na namin lahat ng trabaho. Maganda sana yung wala kaming trabaho. Possible na matapos natin lahat. Pero we want to involve yung homeowners dun sa process ng pagkuha ng mga vendors and also commenting dun sa mga proposals. Kaya we want to give yung 1 month na time. And then by middle of January, we'll submit yung registration. So we'll be in a much better position that time to say na sure tayo, register. Then, ang certificate of incorporation, if we register middle of January, darating siya middle of February. around 1 month. Then after registration, uh, our recommendation is mag-PO na tayo ng contract dun sa HOA management, purchase order. Ah, sorry. So yung PO is purchase order, meaning mag-sign na tayo ng contract dun sa HOA management para masimulan na nila yung review ng processes, preparation ng documents, para pagdating ng certificate of incorporation, mabilis na yung processing natin ng mga documents. Kasi madaming steps after. Magka-file tayo sa BIR and stuff. Yes po. Sige. Apo. Opo. For that question, who will lead the HOA eventually? Kahit sino naman po mag-register, si Ana or kami, we will still have our election after that. So, registration muna. For now, we are pushing this GA and also this information drive partly to educate yung homeowners. What should we expect from both group? Kasi I understand, ano na kami, medyo disadvantage in terms of the race or the numbers. But we want to push this kasi this will still give information sa homeowners na magtanong, nasa na ba tayo? Sabi nung kabilang grupo, dapat merong ganito, parang kailangan natin yun. So yung mga ganong spark of interest, isa din yun sa intention namin. Kasi may chance na hindi gawin to lahat eh. Mag-register. Tapos meron silang private agreement with one management firm. Tapos meron silang sariling process. Paano pag winalang tayo ng LEHOA? Lumabas yung incorporation tapos i-cut lahat ng services. Tapos wala tayo sa posisyon na tumayo ng mag-isa. Yes po. Yes po. Yung depende po dun sa certificate of incorporation. Kasi pag nagpasa po ng registration, meron dong 5 interim BOD. So sila yung magli-lead nung association for 2 months maximum after nung certificate of incorporation. May 1 month to have the ELECOM, another month to have the BOD election. Ngayon, yung 2 months na yon, that is critical for the establishment of the HOA. Ngayon, kung hindi maayos yung setup ng HOA that time, mamanahin ng bagong sets of BODs yung problema na iniwan nung first set. Wala tayo lahat eh. So, ayun nga, pabalik ako sa gusto kong ma-educate yung mga tao na dapat may ganito. Hindi for me, kung nagpakita lang sila at least 90% same dun sa gusto kong ma-hit na points. We're willing to back down eh. Pero ang problem ko talaga is transparency. Nag-information drive sila, hindi ako convinced personally paano tatakbo. Ah, kung sino po yung mauna? Kailangan ko po ng 50% eh. Oo. Ano, to be frank, kung mauna sila, we will just act like, ano, ah, hindi, we'll hold them accountable and we will try to ask these things. So magiging ano kami, magiging police, magiging mm, malaki talaga. Ang ang hindi ko rin kasi gusto sa ginawa nila, ah, yung iba-iba yung needs ng bawat village, eh. So, hindi ako agree na dapat kung ano yung management ng isa, yun din yung management ng iba. Kasi baka hindi mabigyan ng atensyon yung kailangan natin. Especially kung common contract yung kukunin nila, tapos isi-split nila yung cost. Mahirap yun eh, for me. Tapos, ayun pa, yung paano yung transition ng mga processes, ganyan. Baka, baka i-present din nila eventually. Pero, ayun nga. I'm hoping na umabot din sa kanila to. And then, meron din silang matutunan. Pero, yun. Okay lang po. Oo. Okay lang po. Kuha po kayo ng ano. Salamat po. Sige. Okay. Sige. Medyo konti na lang din yung slides para matapos na din tayo. Hindi na. 7 o'clock na din. So, ayun. Pagdating ng February, makukuha natin yung Certificate of Incorporation. And then, ayun, before that, sana ma-PO na natin yung HOA project management. Then by March, magkakaroon tayo ng election of ELECOM and BOD. At the same time, mag-open na din tayo ng BRR registration tsaka bank account ng Homeowners Association. And then, after election of BOD, ipaplan yung phase 3, which is yung training ng officers tsaka committee heads nung HOA management. And then, if makipag-usap na sila HOA for the basic services, we'll have a memorandum of understanding para tanggalin na nila yung security nila, pati yung garbage collection para sarili na nating services. Wala. Di ko rin alam eh. Pero yan yung proper way. I think they tried. Pero as long as hindi mag-back down si Lehoa. What I heard is pino-force pa din ni Lehoa yung services. And then nagpapadala sa kanila ng billing monthly. 'Di ko lang alam kung nag-start na sila magbayad, pero last I heard hindi sila nagbabayad. So kung gano'n din yung kalabasan natin sa after registration, kung ayaw nila i-stop yung services tapos magbi-billing sila sa'tin, magpapa-GA din ako. Magpapa-GA dapat yung BOD. Kung magbabayad ba tayo o hindi. Kasi baka ang consensus magmatigasan, eh. Pero kung gusto natin na medyo playing safe, magbayad pa din tayo. Pero dapat may plano long term na paano natin ika-cut yung services. Kasi yung pera na ginagamit natin pambayad dun, most likely mas mura yung kaya nating makuhang service. And then we're losing money each month to cover yung cost na gusto nilang bayaran natin. Then so next actions. So ngayon yung presentation ng GA ay nung new HOA and regular bylaws. Presentation of updated budget. Ang target is by first week of January. And then collection of signatures starting today until first week of January. So meron po tayong dalawang list, which is yung members list and then yung GA attendance sheet and vote. So, ayun, up to you po kung gusto niyo ng check-in or mag-yes dun sa independent, pero you can leave it blank for now. Then early engagement with HOA property management, then registration to DSUD mid of January. May option na earlier kung madami pong magbibigay ng support. Pero I think we need more information. Then we will post again yung bylaws kung mayroong gusto comment pa or add recommendations. We'll keep it up until December end para by January, kung meron kailangan pag-usapan, may oras pa tayo before we submit yung registration. And then another GA before registration kung kakailanganin. And then call for volunteer interim BOD. Currently po 3 pa lang yung meron kami. And continue sourcing service providers. Ayun. So ito po yung current lineup namin for the BOD. So alam niyo naman po, Aristotle Manyalak. Then we have Hart Rodriguez, who will be another interim, and then si Oyo Buldeman, who is the husband of Ronaling Canapi. So we need at least 5. So we're still looking for 2 interim BOD. Ayun. Sige po. Ayun. So to emphasize, yung interim BOD po namin is only committed until for the interim BOD at a minimum, no? So hopefully things go well and then tumakbo ng maayos yung BOD, yung registration and yung interim BOD na period. And then they will reconsider if they want to run. Pero yun, siguro if I can speak for myself, since I'm the one trying to drive this, I'll make sure po na yung first term ng BOD, if I'm elected, I'll try to manage it as much as I can. Stakeholder din po ako dito. yung motivations ko earlier or motivations namin earlier na ayusin yung village, we'll try to really fix that once we have our own HOA. And then, personally, I cannot do much kung hindi rin tayo yung nandun sa posisyon to effect yung change. So we'll try to do our part kung ma-elect po ako later. So yun po, we still have 2 positions open. Di naman kailangan yun, but we can speak privately kung merong interested. So the positions are President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, and Auditor. Nasa bylaws din yung ano nila, job description. So yun, nag-provide po kami ng slides kasi para lang mapakita namin yung background namin. So, you will commonly hear me as an engineer. So, pero I'm a chemical engineer. So, it's a bit different from your typical engineer na mechanical or electrical. And I'm working in an oil and gas construction industry for 14 years and held position in project and engineering management. And then also technical discipline. Then, with me is my wife, Jem. So, meron siyang over 10 years experience in project management din. So, it's related to BPO, business transitions, improving day-to-day operations. And then, ayun. I transferred here in GL3 last year, October. And then I've been Block 1 representative since February 2025. Then, ayan, si Hart po is an IT professional with 15 years experience in market data engineering. Then, ang kanyang wife ay stay-at-home wife and mother of 2 kids with a degree in accounting and experience in BPO handling finance and accounting teams. So, Hart has been in the village since 2021? 2021. Then, nag-block rep po siya ng 2022 and 2023. And then, Hart has been an active volunteer. And marami pong mga projects dito sa village na naging siya, big contributor. Like yung solar light installation. Then, yung last interim natin is si Oyo Buldiman and Ronaldin Canapi. So si Oyo is also an IT professional with 10 years experience in enterprise networks and telcos. Yung mas kilala niyo po is si Rona. Si Rona ay stay-at-home wife with 2 kids with 5 years professional experience in marketing. Yan, kaya siya madaldal. Then 2 years supervisory role in BPO. Then black rep po siya from 2023 and 2024. And you will commonly see her in social events. So madami pong gig si Rona. So merong she led yung mga fun activities natin like Zumba, meet and greet, and year-end parties. So yun, as I mentioned before, gusto natin ng madaming parties pa. So these people will be very helpful in setting that tone once we have the new association. Ito, gusto niyo pa bang pag-usapan to? Ito na po yung na-post ko before, yung achievements. Medyo mahaba siya eh. Pero siguro yung na lang, yung very brief. Block 1 flooding perimeter wall, flooding perimeter wall, yung pader po namin dito sa likod. Dati po ay tumutulo siya papasok dito sa mga bahay. So, nagawan po natin ng paraan na mag-request sa DSUD para i-force yung developer na ayusin yung part na yan. Currently, meron na siyang earth canal na doon naiipon yung tubig. So, hindi na naiipon sa side ng bahay. Yung Block 5 flooding, yun na po yung na-mention doon sa start ng presentation. So, informed na po ang City Hall and under monitoring na siya ng City Hall para ensure na hindi tayo babagsakan ulit ng madaming tubig. So, yun. Then, island modification, yung sa harap, madaming gigil na doon, hindi tayo makakaliwa. Pero nanindigan po ang developer na gagawin daw yung national highway, I think, na 6 lanes. Kaya ayaw nilang magkaroon ng madaming left turns kasi maapektuhan yung volume ng traffic. Yun yung ano nila, stand nila. Then, and I think it will take shape soon pag nabuo na yung BRT. Kasi pag nabuo na yun, I remember sabi ni Engineer Cobillo, part nun is dapat magawa na nilang 6 lanes yung kalye. So lalaki na talaga yung kalye within a few years dyan sa harap natin. Then, independent HOA, yan po yung ginagawa natin ngayon. Pero ang highlight lang po dito is yung pagkuha natin ng documents sa DSUD and yung mga ano natin, information drive. Then finally, yung subdivision amenities. Ang latest na achievement is nagsimula na yung basketball court. It's not what we want, but it's still an improvement. Malaking bagay pa din. Opo, better pa din. And then, another thing maliban sa basketball court is DSUD has issued an order kay ProFriends na i-reclassify yung portion ng lot para matayuan ng multipurpose hall. So previously, naka-parks and playground siya. So pag hinandover sa atin ni ProFriends yun ng naka-parks and playground, hindi natin siya pwedeng tayuan ng building. So ngayon, pina-force ni DSUD, in-order ni DSUD si ProFriends na mag-apply ng reclassification doon sa lot para magkaroon siya ng sariling title na community facility rather than parks and playground. So pag na-handover sa atin, tapos mag-decide tayo na gastusan siya, lagyan natin clubhouse or ano, hindi tayo mamamroblema kasi naka-classify na yung lupa. Ayun. Pagkatapos ng 2 oras, Q&A. Sige. Ngayon ko palang bubuksan. Okay. Mm. Sir Elmar. Ayun. Ay, hindi ko pa na-update. Mm. Mm. Hindi ko pa na-post. Pero nag-send ako sa main GC nung kailan ba? bago ako na-kick. Parang 2 days before ako na-kick. Nakalagay na po dun sa main GC yung ano. Pero na may notice of violation na si ProFriends, so kailangan nilang sagutin yun. Pag di nila sinagot, may administrative sanctions sa kanila. Ano daw upon receipt ng office nung Lehoa or ng ProFriends. So hindi ko sure kung na-receive na. Pero dapat by January may response na. Kahit naman i-share ko sa kanila, most of the time FYI lang. Most of the time FYI lang. Kasi wala din naman silang contribution. Pag pag binigay ko sa kanila yung info, ah, sige. Yung question pala is, bakit kine-question ng officers yung action regarding this government agency na coordination? On my side, ini-inform ko naman sila kapag may communication na akong ginagawa. Pero yung part nung kapag may if I need something to support yung query, pinapadaan ko sa kanila. Pero pag wala naman silang contribution doon sa query, ina-FYI ko na lang sila. For example, yung sa Block 5 flooding, yung mga photos doon is coming from the officers. Kasi wala pa naman ako dito nung nangyari yun. Pero itong mga related sa development plan, yung document din kasi is not coming from them. It came from yung sarili nating effort. So, I don't see the value na ipapaalam ko pa sa kanila. Na pwede ko ba itong itanong? I don't think that's productive. Actually, may time na ginawa ko yun, yung sa Block 5 flooding. It delayed yung letter by 1 week. Kasi kailangan ko pang tsempohan na nandyan siya, kasi wet ink pa yung signature. Di ba, na tayo nun? Agit na tayong lahat nun High tension na tong mga kasama natin So, hindi siya productive. Okay siya kung merong contribution, pero kung walang contribution, I don't see the point na magpapaalam pa ako. Kasi hindi naman kailangan sige. Baka may question pa related dun sa general topics. Medyo maging tayo ngayon.